It's happening. Alrighty, guys. So Pete's pumped. We're ready. Awesome. Cool. People are still coming in. We're a smaller group today. It's probably because of the weather. You guys have done well to get out here this early with this disgusting weather. I've become very accustomed to warm mornings, and this does not suit me. But as we are stepping in and getting ready, we do have some testimony lined up this morning to share about God's goodness. I do want to acknowledge that we've got some people in the room who are going through some grieving and some stuff that's happening outside of this room. So there's a bit of a juxtaposition taking place this morning. And I don't think it's fair to ignore that. We want to recognise that in the midst of what we're experiencing with God's goodness, there's often this parallel tangent of what's not good. And it's highlighted when we're standing around and we're speaking of God's goodness and what He's done. And then there's the not yet alongside, and we're still waiting for God's goodness to break through. So I don't know that it's always comfortable having those two things in this room together. I want to say that it's normal though, and it's not a bad thing. As we're experiencing the goodness of God and celebrating that, I'm hoping that we'll be able to take time to acknowledge that where God hasn't quite met a circumstance yet, there's opportunity for Him to break through. We can celebrate His goodness while we're experiencing whatever that thing is, and we can call out and say, hey God, we know your goodness, we've seen it, we've tasted of this particular thing, and we're ready for you to do it in that circumstance as well. We haven't seen it yet, but we know who you are, we know what you're about, and we're ready for that goodness to cross over into that thing that hasn't quite seen the fulfillment of your will yet. So I'm hoping that you're comfortable with the tension that we live with really every day. And we can see that it's not just in this room, it's in the world right now. There is incredible goodness and generosity and breakthrough of the kingdom. And there is incredible pain and suffering and things happening at the same time. So today we want to celebrate the goodness and say, God, we see it, and we're ready for it to happen in those places where there's still a bit of darkness and you haven't broken through fully. Alrighty. So we're going to start with a testimony from Trav. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Oh, you're loud. Okay. Take it away.
Thanks, Joe. That's so good. Can we just thank Joe again? She's awesome. Just speaks into stuff so clearly. That's awesome, dude. Thanks for coming. Testimony time. Welcome. I wanted to share something, and it involves Barry. And I was meant to call Barry this week and tell him what I was going to say, because I didn't know if he wanted me to say it, but I don't care. I'm just going to say it anyway, Barry, if that's all right. So a couple of years ago, before COVID hit, before the lockdown, we had no idea what was coming as a staff, obviously. No one did. But I was looking into upgrading our sound system, right? So we had an old analog mixer. So for those of you who don't know, the analog is like the dials, and you turn up the volume, turn down the volume, do all the mixing. Simon knows about this. And it was in a big thing, like a big, I don't know if you remember it. You remember the thing that we would wheel out every Sunday, right? Anyway, so I was looking at upgrading to a digital sound system, which is far more streamlined. See that little black thing there? That's our digital mixer, and it's all wireless. So Simon's actually doing our sound via an iPad there, and it's all wireless. And it's a lot better. It's a lot more efficient. Anyway, I was looking at doing this for a while. Barry, he gave us a beautiful gift towards the worship, towards the sound, right? Or however I wanted to use it, really. It was very generous. Exactly. He just gave it, and he had no idea how I was going to use it. And for 2 years, he hasn't heard anything about it. But he's so faithful that he just waited. And before the lockdown, we purchased this digital mixer, and it went towards doing all our online stuff. So all of our online worship, all of our home-to-home stuff that we did, it all involved that little thing there, and it just facilitated everything for that period, right? We couldn't have done it without it. So it just worked perfectly, the timing. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and just say thank you and thanks to God, and it was very cool. So that's it. Yeah.
Trav. And thanks, Barry, for trusting us and trusting God with that, because if you hadn't, we wouldn't have, I don't know if we'd have a church at this point, because we wouldn't have been able to meet online and do those things. That was awesome. So we've had Trav lined up to share this morning. We are going to open it up now and just say, if you have something that you would like to share about God's goodness, this is the moment where you can jump up and share whatever it is. Bit of boldness, bit of bravery. And we've got Dave coming up. Awesome. Guys, what do we think of Dave? The correct answer is he's all right. Sorry, I just realised that wrong crowd. It's not you.
JJ, you got your mojo there working?
I do. Awesome. Face this way, buddy. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to share something on medical problems and that there. I have had in my leg, I developed 2 ulcers, and they're very stubborn. It took 6.5 months for them to heal over, and that there. And I'd go up to the doctors 2 to 3 times through the week, and that there. And my skin is very dry, and there was fluid in my leg leaking out of my leg, and it looked it was not good. It was not good. But the time going up to the doctors 2 to 3 days through the week, the medical centre, what God did in that process, He caused a revival in that medical centre, and I didn't mind going up. I didn't mind doing what the Lord wanted me to do, and that there. But that was the fruit of it. He caused a revival in that medical centre, and I just thank and praise God there for that.
Wow, awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. That's unexpected. Alrighty. Did anyone else have something they'd like to share this morning? It might be a light testimony morning. That's okay. We can do yonks ago. There's no time limit on God's goodness. This is Robin, guys. Yep. Robin is lovely. We love Robin. You're good to hold the mic and do this. Oh, your husband's being cheeky. Yeah, take it away.
That's not unusual. Back before children yonks ago, we lived in this half a house in Hawthorn on, what was the name of the road? Power Street. And the garage of this house backed onto Wattle Lane or something. Anyway, we were coming home at about 11 o'clock at night, and we just turned into the lane to go into the garage, and this car full of hoons comes roaring around the corner and nearly collected the back of us, and Pete honked. It looked like they were all drunk and very noisy, and so he'd got the garage door open, and then he went forward and started backing in, and then he realised that this great car load of hooligans he said, oh, they're backing up, and so he backed the car partway into the garage, and he said to me, back it in. And I just, thought, well, he's going to close the garage door after I've backed it in. So I shoof over to the driver's side, and I'm looking up, and then he's turned the engine off. And I thought, what on earth did he turn the engine off for? And then I can't find the keys to turn it on. And the next thing, this car sort of comes level with the front of the garage, and this voice says, oh, it's only a woman. And they just zoom off then. And Peter just disappeared. He'd apparently gone to get...
This is not a good...
He didn't say to me, back the car in.
But anyway... Look. Well, I've got to... Well, look, this is a bit of a... I'm sorry to have to share this with you, but my first reaction was to say to Rob, back it in. I ran to get the rifle.
You didn't say back it in.
Anyway,
you said, come
whatever.
with me.
Anyway, I ran to get a rifle I owned, right, from the cupboard. saying, I'm going to defend my wife. See, so I come out with this rifle, didn't have any bullets in it. I come out with this rifle, right, ready to take on this group of hooligans. And I come in, this is the grace of God, I'm sure. I come in through the garage door, and just as I come through, I hear them say, oh, it's only a woman, and zoom, off they go, and here's me standing here with the rifle. So,
Wow, thank you.
look, I thank God he looked after us there, and I didn't have to use the rifle, which might have severely impacted our lives.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thank you, God, that no one was killed that day. Thank you, guys. Oh, yeah. So, no. Apparently, you made an impact on your wife. So, okay, that's. I love it. God's goodness in all different places. So, guys, it's almost 10 to 10. We did actually start a little bit later today. So what we're going to do is instead of filling that 10 minutes of filming stuff and doing that, we're going to have 10 minutes where you guys can connect with each other. You can share testimonies with each other, or you can talk about places where you'd like God's goodness to still meet what you're experiencing. So we're going to pop on some light music. You guys have got 10 minutes of free time. Enjoy each other's company, and we'll come back to worship at 10. Thanks, guys.